On August 14th, 2003, at 4:10 in the afternoon, the largest blackout in North American history hit 55 million people across 8 U.S. states and parts of Canada. Power gone. In 1 second. No warning. Every alarm system, every electronic lock, every automated security setup, dead. Expensive hardware turned into expensive plastic. In some areas, the power didn't come back for a week, a full week of darkness. And for that week, every family from New York to Detroit was responsible for its own safety with whatever they already had inside their walls. And here's what nobody talks about. The homes that weren't touched weren't the ones with the fanciest security. They were the ones that looked like too much trouble to bother with. The ones where something about the yard, the doors, the windows said, "Not this house." And everything that made them say that cost $0. I'm Max, and today on Outfox Apocalypse, we are talking about 15 free home defense items that are already inside your house right now. Not things you need to buy. Not things you need to order from some tactical website that charges you $40 for a piece of paracord with a logo on it. I'm talking about what's in your kitchen drawers, your garage, your closet, your kid's toy box. Everything you need to defend your home is already inside it. You just don't know it yet. And by the end of this video, you will look at every single room in your house differently. Some of these are so simple, you'll laugh. A couple of them are so clever that you'll pause this video and text a friend, and at least one of them, I guarantee, will make you say out loud, "Why didn't I think of that?" 15 items. $0, 3 layers, let's go. Layer 1, psychological deterrents. The goal here is simple, make the criminal pick a different house. You're not fighting anyone, you're making them decide it's not worth the risk before they ever touch your door. Number 1. Spent shotgun shells around your property. Pure psychological warfare. A criminal approaches your house, checking the perimeter the way they do. He looks down, spent 12-gauge shells, brass and red plastic, scattered in the gravel near the porch by the back gate. What does his brain tell him? Someone here shoots. Someone here shoots a lot. And suddenly, your house just moved to the bottom of his list. You never fired a round. You don't even need to own a gun. You just need to own the narrative. Hit up any shooting range and ask for their brass. They'll hand you a bucket and thank you for cleaning up. While you're there, ask for old paper targets too. Fold them up and leave a stack somewhere visible near the garage. On a shelf, on a workbench, casually. Don't hang them on the wall. Empty paper with no holes gives the game away. But a folded stack? That says someone who takes their results home to study. Scatter the shells like you're seasoning a steak. Psychological deterrents at $0. Number 2. The fake dog. I saw a guy ask online, "Who's gonna chew up the dog toys for my fake dog?" And someone answered, "You are, with your own teeth. Commit to the bit." Here's the setup. A large dog bowl by the front door, filled with water. A chewed up rope toy on the porch. Beware of dog. Sign on the fence. You can make one with a marker and cardboard. A thick chain leash hanging from a hook by the back door. A worn blanket on the floor that looks like a dog bed. A retired cop once shared, 26 years on the force, that visible evidence of a dog is one of the top 3 things that makes a burglar change his mind at the door. Most criminals decide in under 10 seconds. A dog means noise, teeth, and unpredictability. They move on. You don't need the dog, you need the story of a dog. And if the toys need tooth marks, well, the man had a point. Get chewing. Number 3. A rubber snake. A 70-year-old man was sitting in his truck at a gas station. Somebody suspicious started approaching. The man reached onto his dashboard, picked up a realistic rubber rattlesnake, and held it toward the window. The guy turned around and left. Fear of snakes is one of the most deeply wired phobias in the human brain. It's called ophidiophobia. And studies show it activates the amygdala faster than almost any other visual stimulus. Your kids or grandkids probably have a toy snake in a box somewhere. If not, any yard sale or thrift store has a bin of rubber animals for almost nothing. Put one on your dashboard, coil one on your welcome mat, set one on the windowsill. Combined with the fake dog, the spent shells, you're building a psychological fortress around a house that looks increasingly unpredictable and dangerous to approach. Number 4. Expired food as a decoy. You've spent months building a food stockpile. Canned goods, rice, beans, freeze-dried meals. If someone breaks in looking for supplies, what do they find? If the answer is your entire stockpile, you lose everything. But if you leave a shelf of expired canned goods in plain sight, the kitchen pantry, the garage shelves, visible and accessible, most looters grab what they see and leave. They're not checking expiration dates. They're not doing inventory. They're in a hurry. Your real supplies are behind a false wall, under the floor, in a locked closet, in bins labeled Christmas decorations. The decoy costs you nothing. You were going to throw those cans away. Now they're protecting the ones that matter. This is the same principle the military calls deception in depth. Show the enemy what you want them to see. Hide what you need to keep. Number 5. Painting your trees white. This is where we shift from psychology into physics. A man shared this trick and it blew people's minds. He painted every tree on his property, the side facing the house, white, 6 feet up. At night, anyone walking between those trees, their silhouette stood out against the white background like a shadow puppet. White paint on trees, 6 feet high, the side facing your house. At night, anyone moving through your yard becomes a dark silhouette against a white surface. Your eyes pick up that contrast instantly, even without a flashlight, even through a window, even if you're half asleep. This is the same principle the military uses with white painted walls in forward operating bases. It's called contrast detection, and the human eye evolved specifically to detect dark shapes against light backgrounds. Your brain processes that in milliseconds. Now extend it. Paint the inside of your fence white. The wall of your shed, your garage, your outbuilding, any surface facing your house. Every white surface becomes a screen that turns intruders into visible shadows. You probably have leftover paint in the garage from some project. Half a can is enough for every tree in a typical yard. And it works every single night for years. Let me pause here and give you the framework. What we've just covered, shells, fake dog, rubber snake, decoy food, white paint, that's layer 1. Psychological deterrents. Things that make your house look like too much trouble before anyone touches a door. Now we move to layer 2, barriers and fortification. Things that physically slow down or stop anyone who decides to try anyway. Number 6. Christmas bells on every door and window. The oldest alarm system on Earth. A jingle bell hung on the inside of every door handle and window latch. Someone opens that door at 3 in the morning. The whole house hears it. No batteries. No Wi-Fi. No monthly subscription. No power grid required. Works after an EMP. Works after a blackout. This is acoustic perimeter security. A jingle bell produces 70 to 80 decibels at close range, louder than a normal conversation. In a dead silent house at 2 in the morning, that's a cannon. You probably have a box of Christmas decorations in the garage with bells already in it. If not, any craft store or yard sale has them for pennies. Hang them on every entry point tonight. Number 7. Tape and wire mesh on windows. Field expedient window hardening from whatever you have in the garage. Chicken wire, hardware cloth, any metal mesh. It doesn't matter what kind. Tape it to the inside of the glass. Duct tape, packing tape, whatever holds. The mesh holds broken glass in place, so an intruder can't just punch through and reach in. The tape reinforces the bond between glass and wire. Together, they turn a 10-second break-in window into a 60-second wrestling match with sharp, tangled metal. And every second of that is noise. Noise is time. Time is survival. You probably have leftover fencing material, old screen wire, or hardware cloth from some project you never finished. Now it has a purpose, and in a grid-down scenario where you need to harden your windows right now with what's in the garage, this is your move. Number 8. Flower boxes filled with crushed rock. And this is the one I put in the title because almost nobody knows about it. This is the Hesco barrier principle, the same technology the military uses to build blast walls around forward operating bases, scaled down to your front porch. A wooden flower box, 18 inches wide, filled in layers, sand, then crushed gravel, then more sand, then soil and flowers on top. That flower box now stops pistol rounds. 9mm 45 ACP, even .357 Magnum, crushed rock, and packed sand absorb and fragment the projectile. The standard American wall, drywall, 2x4 studs, vinyl siding stops nothing. A 9mm round goes through both sides of a standard interior wall and keeps going. But 18 inches of layered rock and sand? That's cover, not just concealment. Put them under your windows. Put them flanking your front door. Your neighbors see flower boxes with geraniums. You see ballistic barriers made from scrap wood and driveway gravel that stop bullets. This works anywhere in the world. And nobody, not your HOA, not your neighbors, not a burglar, looks at a flower box and thinks fortification. That's the point. Number 9. Broken glass on top of fences. This is ancient. Literally ancient. Cities in medieval Europe embedded broken pottery and glass into the mortar on top of their walls. In South America, Central America, parts of Africa, and Southeast Asia, this is still standard practice today. Walk through any residential neighborhood in Bogota, Manila, or Nairobi, and you'll see broken glass cemented into the tops of concrete walls. Mix broken bottles or ceramic shards into wet mortar or concrete and spread it along the top of your fence or wall. A 6-foot wooden fence is a 4-second obstacle. A 6-foot fence topped with embedded glass is a barrier that most people will not attempt. Combined with the white paint trick from number 5, you now have a perimeter that is both visible and physically painful. Check your local ordinances first. Some jurisdictions classify this as a hazard. In rural areas and many states, it's perfectly legal on your own property. $0 if you save your bottles. Pause this video and take a photo of this list. Shells, fake dog, snake, decoy food, white paint, bells, window mesh, flower box barriers, fence glass, 9 items down. 6 to go. And these last 6 are the ones that made combat veterans nod and say, "That's smart. We're moving to layer 3, improvised weapons." Things you reach for when layers 1 and 2 have failed and someone is inside your house. Number 10. Red pepper and vinegar in a spray bottle. Cayenne pepper, white vinegar, a spray bottle from under the sink. That's it. That's the whole recipe. The capsaicin in cayenne is the same active compound in commercial pepper spray, oleoresin capsicum. At 2 million Scoville heat units, cayenne is not playing around. Vinegar acts as the carrier and irritant multiplier. It bonds to mucous membranes. A direct hit to the face causes immediate eye closure, coughing, and disorientation lasting 5 to 15 minutes. Is it as refined as a commercial canister? No. Will it stop someone long enough for you to get behind a locked door and call for help? Absolutely. And it's sitting in your kitchen right now. Make one for every room. Label it cleaning solution if you want. Nobody questions a spray bottle under the sink. Number 11. An ice pick. If you have one in a kitchen drawer, and a lot of older households do, you're holding a focused point impact tool. The tip concentrates all force into less than 1 square millimeter. At that pressure, even with minimal force, it penetrates clothing, leather, and tissue. It's the same physics as a needle through fabric. You're not swinging, you're pushing. And that means it works for people with limited arm strength, people in wheelchairs, people lying in bed. Don't leave it buried in the back of a drawer. Keep one in the kitchen. Keep one on the nightstand. Keep one in the bathroom. The mistake most people make is storing all their defensive tools in one location. Don't do that. Distribute them. The fight will not happen where you expect it. It will happen where you are. Number 12. A padlock on paracord. This is an improvised flail that fits in your pocket. A heavy padlock, the kind you already have on the garage or storage unit, tied to 18 inches of paracord, rope, or even a shoelace. You swing it, and centrifugal force turns that lock into a wrecking ball. The physics are simple. Force equals mass times acceleration, and the paracord gives you a radius that multiplies tip speed dramatically. A direct hit from a swinging padlock to the temple, jaw, or collarbone will end a confrontation. Here's the legal beauty. You're carrying a lock and a piece of rope. Clip your keys to it, and it's just your keychain with a lock. That's not a weapon. It's personal belongings. It passes through TSA. It sits in your purse, your glove box, or your nightstand, and nobody looks at it twice. If anyone asks, you're on your way to check your storage unit. This works for people with limited grip strength, because you're not squeezing, you're swinging. And centrifugal force does not care about arthritis. Number 13. This one came from Detroit, and it changed the way I think about baseball bats forever. A guy wrote, "Growing up in Detroit, we kept a Louisville Slugger behind the front door. There was a tube sock stretched over the bat. A tube sock. Stretched tight over the barrel of a baseball bat. Why? Because if an intruder grabs the bat, and they will try to grab the bat, they get the sock. It slides right off in their hand. And you still have the bat. While they're standing there holding a sock and trying to figure out what just happened, you get a second swing. The sock costs $0. The tactical advantage is priceless. This is street-level engineering from a city that wrote the book on improvised home defense. Go to your closet right now, grab a tube sock, and put it over whatever bat, stick, or pipe you keep by the door. This is the kind of trick you text to your brother at midnight. If that one was worth hearing, and I think it was, then hit subscribe. I don't sell tactical gear or magic supplements. I give you physics, real data, and the kind of tricks that people who grew up in hard places already know. The pack shares what works. Number 14. A wad of coins in a sock. A veteran once shared this. 28 years in the Army, traveled the world. He said he always carried a wad of coins in a sock, everywhere he went. This is a combat veteran's improvised blackjack. A thick, athletic sock filled with a roll of quarters or a fistful of mixed change. Tie a knot at the top. You now have a weighted flexible impact weapon with a total mass of about 12 to 16 ounces, concentrated at the end of a fabric handle. The mechanics are identical to a medieval flail. You swing it, centrifugal force accelerates the mass, and the impact delivers force concentrated into an area the size of a golf ball. At full swing, that sock is moving fast enough to fracture bone. People recognized instantly what it was, a weapon that exists in every hotel room, every bus station, every airport lounge on Earth. It's spare change and a sock. Nobody will ever confiscate it. Nobody will ever recognize it. And a 28-year Army veteran carried one across multiple continents because it works. This is one of those items that works beautifully in countries where firearms and even knives are illegal. In the UK, in Australia, in Canada, in Japan, you can carry coins and a sock. Nobody is stopping you. The physics of centrifugal force don't respect borders. And number 15, the sharpened garden shovel. Somebody shared this one, and the dark humor was so perfect I had to include it. He said, "I just sharpen up a small shovel. Then it can be used twice, before and after. Before and after." Let that settle for a second. A small garden trowel or entrenching tool taken to a bench grinder or a flat file, sharpened to a working edge. It's now a cutting tool, a digging tool, and a close quarters weapon. And this is not a new idea. Russian Spetsnaz trained with sharpened entrenching tools, the MPL-50, as a primary close combat weapon. There are entire military manuals devoted to shovel fighting techniques. The Soviet Army issued them with the explicit expectation that soldiers would sharpen the edge. The physics work because a shovel combines mass, leverage, and edge geometry. Even a light swing delivers significant cutting force because the weight is concentrated at the blade. For someone with limited grip strength, this is superior to a knife. You're not gripping a thin handle, you're holding a wide shaft with both hands. And it sits in your garden shed right now, looking like exactly what it is, a garden tool. Until it isn't. Now, let me give you the full picture. Everything I've shown you falls into 3 layers. Layer 1, psychological deterrents. Shells, fake dog, rubber snake. Decoy food, white paint on trees. These make your house look like too much trouble. The goal is to make the intruder pick a different house. Layer 2, barriers and fortification. Bells on doors, wire mesh on windows, flower box ballistic barriers, broken glass on fences. These slow down and stop anyone who decides to try anyway. Layer 3, improvised weapons. Pepper spray bottle, ice pick, paracord lock, bat with sock, coin sock, sharpened shovel. These are what you reach for when layers 1 and 2 have failed. And here's something critical that makes this video different from any tactical bro gear review. Everything on this list works in countries where guns are illegal. Every single item. The bells work in London. The flower boxes work in Sydney. The coin sock works in Toronto. If you're watching from a country where self-defense tools are restricted, and many of you are, because I see the comments from the UK, from Canada, from Australia, this list was built with you in mind. Physics doesn't have a jurisdiction. I'm doing a whole video next on cheap items you can buy for under $10 that multiply your home defense, door wedge alarms, security film, motion-activated lights, pepper gel. And after that, one on tactics, how to move through your own house, where to position yourself, how to create a fatal funnel that works in your favor. And eventually, the firearms video for seniors who need easy rack slides, low recoil calibers, and arthritic-friendly grips. The pack builds its fortress one brick at a time. Here's your pinned question for the comments. I want to hear from you. Of these 15 items, which one is already in your house that you never thought of as a defense tool? Drop it below, and if you've got a trick I didn't cover, share it. That's what the pack does. Everything in this video is for educational purposes only. Laws vary by state and country. What's legal in Texas may put you in prison in New Jersey. Broken glass on fences, improvised impact weapons, and DIY pepper solutions all exist in legal gray zones depending on where you live. Always check your local laws. Always consult a qualified attorney before making decisions about force in self-defense. I'm a fox with a physics degree, not a lawyer. Stay safe. Max out.